What I want to talk to you this morning about is estimating distance by rule of thumb. Yes, that's a real thing. Where is it applicable? Well, a hunting scenario is a very good application for this technique, especially if you're bow hunting, because your bow is going to drop and you'll know about what the distance is before your arrow starts to drop, depending on how much you've shot your bow, especially if you're shooting a traditional style bow. Okay, so the way this works, let's use a deer for example. A deer is about 4 feet, a good adult white-tailed deer in the eastern woodlands is about 4 feet from chest to tail. So what I would do is I would put my thumb right in the middle of that deer, and then I would open one eye and look at that deer. Then I would close that eye and open the other eye and see how far my thumb moved across that deer or away from that deer, and estimate how many feet it moved by how far it was. So let's say it moved 2 full lengths of that deer. So we're talking 8 feet. Now, if I times that by 10, which is our multiplier, that means I'm 80 feet away from that deer. If I want to figure that out in yards, obviously I can just divide that by 3. 25, 27, somewhere in that neighborhood, 27. 75 feet would be 25, so 27-ish, something like that, yards from that deer, okay? That gives me a good estimate when I'm taking a shot. Okay, so looking at that tree in the center of the frame, right off the side of the gravel road, I guesstimate that tree to be approximately 2 feet in diameter from where I'm standing. Now, if I put my thumb up and I close one eye, and then I open that eye and close the other one, my thumb has moved about 4 thumb widths from that tree, maybe just a little bit more, but pretty close to 4. So understanding that 4 times 2 is 8, times 10 means that we're 80 feet from that tree, or about 25, 26, 27 yards, something like that. So we'll just start walking to it and we'll see how close we are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 27. So in a full stride, that was exactly 27 steps from this camera. That's pretty good estimation for something like a deer. Okay, let's try another one, and this time we'll use my Jeep back here as an example. I know my Jeep is about 18 feet in length. Knowing that is important. Understanding how wide or how long something is the important multiplier here. Let's turn the camera around, do our math, and see what we got. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna stand right here beside the camera, and I'm gonna stick my thumb out, and I'm gonna put it on the Jeep, right in the center of the Jeep. And then I'm going to close my other eye, and my thumb actually moved about halfway across the Jeep from the center to the front bumper, okay? So looking at that from the center to the front bumper is half of that 18 feet, or about 9 feet. Times 9, right, that would be 90 feet, divided by 3 for yards, that would be 30 yards. So I'm gonna start right here at the camera. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, I'm at 30 now, and I'm about 5 feet short of the Jeep. So it was about 31 yards. Again, pretty close. So it's not perfect. It takes practice. Again, I was about a yard off on that one, but even a yard off on a deer-sized target is not going to affect you much unless it's a pretty far distance as far as where your shot hits, if you guesstimate low by a yard. So the system works, you just got to practice it. All right, so I'm zoomed in on a house here. I'll zoom out of it for a minute for you guys. And I'm by a fence on a gravel road. And I know where I'm at on this gravel road to look at a map to give me a fairly good comparison to check myself. If I didn't have a map, I could use rule of thumb to see how far away that house is from where I'm at. We'll use a map to verify our distance to kind of check ourselves and see how we did. Looking at that house, I would say that house is larger than mine by at least 2 times as far as the footprint goes lengthwise, because my house is square and that one's rectangular. Plus it's got a 2-car garage looking at it from here, which means the garage is probably 25 feet wide. The house is probably about 75 feet wide. So you're probably looking at 100 feet. All right, so let's take that 100 feet and break that down to meters, and we'll just guesstimate it at 30 meters for good round numbers. All right, so looking at that thing in the distance with one thumb and my eye closed. When I open the other eye, I've moved about 3 lengths of that house to the left with my thumb. So 3 times that 30 meters would be 90 meters. Times 10 would be 900 meters. So we're guessing that that house is about 900 meters away. All right, so looking at this on a map, that house sits right here on top of this hill. And we're on the road approximately straight across from this, just a little bit further down. And that is 850 meters. Would be 900 if I was just a little further up the road than I think I am. So we're about 50 meters off in our guesstimate. Over, over 3/4 of a kilometer away. That's actually not too bad. Listen, guys, I really appreciate you joining me out here today for just a quick video on how to use the rule of thumb in a hunting scenario or any other that you may need to judge distance to an object. I appreciate your views. I appreciate your support. I thank you for everything you do for our school, for our family, and for our business, all of our sponsors, instructors, affiliates, and friends. And I'll be back with another video as soon as I can, guys. Thanks.